Okay, so the Exodites have already packed and left for the frontier, but back in the heart of the Empire, things are getting genuinely bad, like even worse. Okay, like the pleasure cults aren't even hiding anymore. They're just basically running the streets for the Cold Wars at this point, literally. Okay, but there was also a second group of Eldar who finally woke up, to what's happening, okay? And these guys aren't radical survivalists like the Exodites, okay? They were like the merchants and the engineers, the traditionalists, and they look around and went, okay, so maybe the other guys had a point. Our planet is actually becoming a death trap. We need to fucking leave. Sorry for the word. We need to leave. So this is where the craft worlds come into be, okay, or into it. Because originally, these things were not meant to be homes at all. They were just these massive automated cargo ships, literally the size of continents. See there? But they were built for trade, okay? Just to move goods around the galaxy, like ginormous shipping containers, if you may, okay? But as the road back home got completely unbearable, these dudes were very practical, okay? And like they look at their cargo ships and they were like, well, maybe this will do. So they converted them into giant arcs, okay? And they load them up with art and history and as many people as they could physically fit into them, okay? But, because there's always a but, living was not simple, okay? Because unlike the instant, because some, the warp travel that was instant that they were used to, these ships, okay, they had to crawl through actual space using slower engines just to keep distance from the psychic storms forming behind them. So it was basically the most dramatic, slowest getaway in galactic history, okay? And the families on board had to completely change how they lived. Like, they had to be super strict, discipline, total emotional control, constantly on guard, so none of the madness outside could seep into the ship, okay? But as these massive iron cities drifted into the cold and dark space, they looked back at their beautiful simmering homeworlds and realized that it was horrible because most of their people had refused to leave the party, okay? And millions of Eldar were still down there completely oblivious, while the craft worlds had just barely managed to put some distance between themselves and what it was about to go off. So, like, not cool.